everybody, welcome back. Taking a look at the Brutalist, directed and produced by Brady Corbett, starring Adrian Brody, Felicity Jones, and Guy Pearce. This is the 4K release, and it's only the 4K. There's no Blu-ray included with this release. Specifically, this is the Elevation release, so this is exclusive to Canada, this release here. It's distributed by A24 in the States, and they have their own release. I'm not sure if that one comes with the Blu-ray or not, and I think overseas, I think Universal's handling the distribution, so it probably has a different release there as well. But I didn't bother importing the A24 release. For one, it was quite a bit cheaper just to buy the Canadian release, and from a picture quality standpoint, the encode is quite a bit better than the A24 release, so it actually worked out pretty well for me, just having a less expensive release, also being the superior release. Though if you're more into like the packaging, I think the A24 release had deluxe packaging of some kind, and the other difference from a presentation standpoint is the A24 release has burned-in subtitles for the scenes in Hungarian. Well, this one does not. This has your, your standard subtitles that you would see if you, were turn on captions. And the perfect release for me would probably be the burned-in subtitles with the encode found here, but overall I'm happy with what we got here in Canada. So, and this also came with the slipcover, which I have flipped here. So let's take a look. I don't think there's anything. Oh, actually the slipcover does look a little bit different than the back of the box if I were to show you the two side by side. The accolades here, and yes, let's go and put this aside. Take a look at the back. Brilliant. Escaping post-war Europe, visionary architect Laszlo Toth arrives in America to rebuild his life, his work, and his marriage to his wife. I think it's Erzsébet. Erzsébet? And I just watched the movie, but I'm not too familiar with that name. After being forced apart during wartime by shifting borders and regimes. On his own in a strange new country, Laszlo settles in Pennsylvania, where the wealthy and prominent industrialist Harrison Lee Van Buren recognizes his talent for building, but power and legacy come at a heavy cost. And then we just have it in French here, with this being the Canadian release. So if you look at the spine, it has it in French and English, and the slipcover's a little bit different though. The slipcover, French on one, and then English on the other. So I may actually, normally I just put the slip in box which goes in the closet, but I may put the slip on this so I just see English on the spine. And if we open it up, I don't think there's anything else in here. I think it's just the disc. It's going to be loud. Let's move it over here. Yeah, just the disc. With the inverted Statue of Liberty, which is one of the earlier shots in the film. Yeah, Elevation, they've been distributing A24 releases this year in Canada. They did Civil War, they also did Zone of Interest. Probably others I'm missing, but those are the other ones that I'm aware of. And yeah, not like this is a continuous image or anything like that. So I wasn't really familiar with this movie. I know it got a lot of hype during award season, and I did see Adrian Brody's Oscar speech, and I haven't seen, well, I've seen Adrian Brody in quite a few movies, I suppose, but I haven't seen him in The Pianist, which I know he won the Oscar for. I think that came out in 2002, perhaps, and I just somehow never got around to watching it. And overall, I do like him as an actor. The only movie I've seen him in that I felt that he was, I don't know, I say miscast, but I didn't really care for his characterization was Predators, of all things. I kind of feel like he's like channeling a Clint Eastwood in that movie, and yeah, it just didn't work for me. I do like watching Predators, but mainly due to the fact there's predators in it. So, but I really enjoyed Adrian Brody in this. I can see why he won Best Actor, and what I didn't know, like going into it, I actually thought this was based off a real person, and it's not. It's similar to a recent movie would be Tar, like Lydia Tar. So Cate Blanchett's performance in that was to me like just this monumental performance. Like that character, you would think you could meet that person in real life. I guess There Will Be Blood would be similar. So I'm not familiar with Brutalist architecture whatsoever. I'm not really familiar with architecture in general. I imagine Brady Corbet is just due to this being produced, and he was also one of the writers, so it must appeal to him. And with Adrian Brody's character, I imagine a mashup of different influences there, presumably architects with the Brutalist movement. But again, I haven't done the research yet. I will. Hasn't happened. Felicity Jones, I've only seen her. I think I've only seen her in Rogue One. So that was like 10 years ago. I guess I'm assuming she still has movies come out in that 10-year block of time, but I don't think I've seen them. And then we have Guy Pearce, and I've seen Guy Pearce in quite a few movies. With probably my favorite Guy Pearce performance is in The Proposition. So, but I did enjoy his performance here as well. So this movie, I really thought it was going to focus more on architecture. It certainly focuses more on the architect, Laszlo, Adrian Brody's character. And it's a long movie. Like, it says 3 hours and 21 minutes. I think that's right. It's definitely over 3 hours. Like, I think it was around 3 hours, 15 minutes, not including the credits. And it does have an intermission, like a a title card saying intermission with a countdown. It's only 1 minute. I don't know how long the intermission happened to be in the theater, but I don't really see a reason to extend it at home because you can, pause it during that scene and do what you want to do. But I'm glad they kept the intermission card because that's where they intended the movie to have a break, so you're not just deciding on your own, okay, time for my intermission. And the last movie, the only movie I've actually seen in the theater with an intermission. No, I've seen 2 movies with an intermission. I saw j.a.s.m.r in the theater. And that movie was, I think it was like 4 hours long. That had a true intermission where time to get up, stretch your legs, and maybe discuss the movie if you want. And when 2001 was re-released in theater, that had a brief intermission as well, though that movie's not that long, at least compared to this. But I think from what I was most surprised about with this movie was the pacing. The pacing is brisk for a movie that exceeds 3 hours long. There's a lot of movement that I wasn't anticipating, from camera work, handhelds, even from an editing standpoint. Like there were, I guess I was expecting more of like a I don't want to say leisurely paced, but like there were even some like jump cuts in the editing which I wasn't anticipating. I haven't seen anything by this director. I don't know if I've seen anything shot by Lowell Crawley. He won the Oscar for Best Cinematography, and this is it is a brilliant looking movie. I know they shot it in VistaVision. You get the VistaVision splash at the start of the movie, which I don't know anyone. I don't know the last time any movie was shot in VistaVision, which is like a 35 millimeter variant. And even stranger is the film itself has almost like a distressed look to it. Like the film isn't cleaned up. Like you see a lot of dirt and scratches in the movie, so it almost feels like something that was shot decades ago, and arguably didn't get like a proper restoration. So for a movie that was just shot, I assume that was all part of the creative intent of the look of the movie, and even from like the color temperature, the palette they went with it. I was expecting, I guess, just more with the cover I see here, and the use of concrete, a much cooler movie, and there's a lot of green in this movie, in the landscape and some of the outfits, the color of the bus that Laszlo rides in, and it's a very prominent color throughout, and ivories, and just a bit more warmth to the color that I wasn't expecting, and it really leads to some very, very striking images. And I think the budget for this was quite small, so it's again a very brilliant looking movie. What they were able to accomplish with the budget, I assume like some of the actors must have taken a pay cut, but this was a nice surprise. I wasn't sure going into it if I was going to get on board with what Brady was selling, but absolutely worth checking out. It is long, but again, the pacing is excellent, and it tells a pretty tried and true immigrant story, but with the lens of architecture. So, pretty unique. Alright, thanks for watching.